Hi, it's Professor Davis. Here's your topics checklist for Module 10. In this module, we're finishing up Chapter 5 on logarithmic and exponential functions. So in Section 5.4, this is a algebraic section, and what we want to do in Section 5.4 on properties of logarithms, we want to be able to do two things. First, we want to be able to use the product rule, the quotient rule, and then the power rule to expand or condense logarithmic expressions. We want to be able to expand them out, in other words, write them term by term. And we also want to use those properties to condense logarithmic expressions, because we often use that technique many times when we're solving logarithmic equations. And again, that brings us to our second topic in this section. We want to be able to solve logarithmic equations using the equality property. In other words, we want to write an equation in such a way that we have the log of some argument on one side of an equation, and then that same log with the same base on the other side of the equation, and that allows us to set the two arguments equal to each other and solve for the variable. So that's where this idea of condensing and expanding is a useful tool there. So in Section 5.4, we want to try exercises 1 through 35 odd. Those start on page 257 if you have the summary notebook. Ebook page 5.4-18. Then in Section 5.5, that's where we actually solve exponential and logarithmic equations. And I guess the emphasis here is on exponential equations. So if we take a look at examples 1 through 4, those go through many different ways that we can solve exponential equations using the techniques we talked about earlier in the chapter. And then we also want to be able to verify our answer graphically, and you'll see that I have a math cast available at the class website where I talk about solving exponential equations using the rule of 3, meaning algebraically, graphically, and numerically. So you want to take a look at that, because certainly the calculator is a very useful tool in solving exponential equations graphically. We can also solve logarithmic equations graphically as well, if you'd like to try that. You want to also take a look at the examples for solving logarithmic equations there. For homework, we want to try do exercises 1 through 21 odd on page 264 in the summary notebook, ebook screen 5.5-19. And then finally, in section 5.6, we want to finish off this chapter and talk about the applications of exponential and logarithmic equations. And you'll see some graphical uses for solving these applications there too that you want to look at. First, we have these three groups of problems we want to look at. First, solving compound interest applications. Those are applications in which interest is accrued over periods of time, whether it be monthly, quarterly, or what have you. So that's an application of exponential functions. And then applications in exponential growth and decay. Decay applications are many times used for like radioactive half-life, and exponential growth, many times we can simply use many models we have lend themselves to exponential growth models. And then finally, in this section, we want to look at logistics curves and solving logistic growth applications. Examples 5 and 6 will help you there, and the calculator is a very, very useful tool in solving those applications. So notice here I just kind of picked some problems out that would be important for us to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Those applications start on page 273 in your summary notebook if you have that, and ebook screen 5.6-25. So you want to finish off this chapter, take a look at that math cast, and that is your checklist for Module 10.